All right, we are going to be going over the lesson 4 of chapter 4. So we're doing 4.4, comparing linear and nonlinear functions. So linear functions have a graph that shows a constant rate of change. And so its graph is a line. So because it's showing a constant rate of change, the graph is a line. With nonlinear functions do not have a constant rate of change, and so their graph is not a line. So linear functions, the graph is going to make a line. Nonlinear functions, the graph does not make a line. So there's no constant rate of change, no line. Nonlinear function. Constant rate of change is a line. Those are linear functions. So once again, we're going to be going over a couple of examples. Make sure that you are taking notes and refer back to these notes when you're doing your homework and when you have your test. All right, so our first example is going to be identifying functions from tables. So we have two tables here, table A and table B. So table A, the x is 3, 6, 9, and 12, and our y's are 40, 32, 24, and 16. So our x's, going from 3 to 6, we're adding 3. 6 to 9, we add 3. 9 to 12, we add 3. With our y's, we go from 40 to 32, we subtract 8. 32 to 24, subtracting 8. And 24 to 16, we're subtracting 8. So as x is increasing by 3, y is decreasing by 8. So the rate of change is constant, meaning that this function is going to be linear. Table B, our x's are 1, 3, 5, and 7, and our y's are 2, 11, 33, and 88. So our y's going from 1 to 3, we're adding 2, 3 to 5, we're adding 2, and 5 to 7, we're adding 2. With our y's going from 2 to 11, we add 9, 11 to 33, we add 22, and 33 to 88, we add 55. So as x increases by 2, y increases by different amounts. That means that the rate of change is not constant, and so this function is nonlinear. So the table B is a nonlinear function. Table A is a linear function. The rate of change is constant for x and y, so our function is linear. Our rate of change for x and y of table B is not constant, and so our function is nonlinear. Okay, so that's identifying functions from tables. And we can also identify functions from graphs. So here we have two graphs. We've got this graph that's kind of doing a little squiggle thing, and then this graph that is a line going through -2. So this graph is not a line. It's not a straight line. And so it is not linear. So this function is nonlinear. The line here going straight across at -2 is a line, and so the function is linear. So we've got a line, the graph is a line, the function is linear, the graph is not a line, and so the function is nonlinear. And so that's identifying functions from graphs. Pretty easy. Look at the graph, it makes a line, it's linear. If it doesn't make a line, it's nonlinear. Next, we're going to be doing a word problem. And so this word problem, account A earns simple interest, account B earns compound interest. So the table shows the balance for 5 years. So this wants us to graph the data and compare the graphs. So our table, we've got our years going from 0 to 500, or going from 0 to 5. So at the beginning, both balances are at $100. Year 1, both balances are 110. Year 2, balance or account A is 120. Account B is 121. Account A at 3 years is 130. At 3 years, account B is 133.10. At 4 years, account A is 140, and account B is 146.41. And at 5 years, account A is 150, and account B is 161.05. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to graph the data for accounts A, or for account A and account B. So we get our graph and we graph our points. So our red line is account B, and our blue line is account A. So account A at 0 is at 100. At 1 year, 110, 2 years, 120, 3 years, 130, 4 years, 140, and 5 years, 150. So account A is making this line here. Account B is at the beginning at 100. At 1 year, it's at 110. At 2 years, it's 121. At 3 years, 133.10. At 4 years, 146.41. And at 5 years, it is 161.05. So we've graphed both of those lines for account A and account B. And so then what it wants us to do is it wants us to compare the graphs. So if we look at our graphs, we can see that account A is a straight line increasing at a constant rate of every year $10. So each year it's increasing by $10. It is a constant rate of change. And so year A, or account A, has a constant rate of change, and so it is linear. Account B does not have a constant rate of change, so it's increasing by different amounts each year. So account B does not have a constant rate of change, and so it is non-linear. Okay, and that is a word problem. Looking at graphs and tables to decide if our functions are linear or non-linear functions. So I will see you in class. Make sure you're using your notes. You are to do your on your own questions, and then in class we will go over your answers, and we will be working on our assignment, and I will answer any questions that you have about any of the linear and nonlinear functions. I will see you in class.